Hello, true believers. This is Corey again. Um, Blogging today because I had my second EMDR session yesterday. Um, and even though the weird feeling I talked about in the last blog is a little bit less, and I think I'm definitely getting more used to it, um, it's kind of still there. So I was trying to type again, and I kind of felt like I was missing a lot of stuff that I could convey um, with my voice more. Before I start, I got a new tablet and I was trying to pick out a case for it. And if you know me, it's like I'll look for a couple minutes, then I just get bored because I kind of hate shopping. But I saw this and I thought this was sort of summarizing of everything. It says we're all mad here. It's from Alice in Wonderland. I'm actually thinking I want this as a tattoo on my rib cage, uh, which I think would be pretty cool. So my second EMDR session after uh, last week, my appointment got canceled. So I had it yesterday. Uh, and leading up to it, what's interesting is my wife Damari and I had to get the tire replaced. And we go to this place downtown because it's a family-run place, and they're super nice, and we're always quick to give them our patronage. We passed this boarded up church. I don't really want to say exactly where it is, but it's downtown Louisville. And as we passed this church, the only way I can describe this is I had hit in the center of my chest was this huge lump. Uh, Basically, and this is the first time I've had a PTSD, a post-traumatic stress disorder syndrome of attack of this type. Usually it's memories I already have that if I think about it, I get stuck and I can't get out. This was one that I had buried so far deep um, that as I passed the physical location of the culmination of that memory, it was like a door opening. I was stuck in it again. I was a 10-year-old kid and I lived the situation. Um, I don't know how much detail anybody cares for me to go into, but I'll just overview it. There was a period of time my dad had moved out. I had forgotten all about that, or made myself forget all about it. And let's just say it was taken out on me a lot. Um, there were broken plastic hangers, etc. Uh, and I knew when that memory hit, and I told Damari the detail of it. I said I know my next set of memories I want to talk about for my next EMDR treatment. So we, myself and Dr. Davis talked about it, and let me preface by saying my wife Damari is my number one fan. She is my cheerleader, whether it's been any of these races, the full marathons, the half marathons, figuratively and physically at every finish line, without question, without hesitation, regardless of the weather. And if you live anywhere near the Ohio Valley, you know the weather is ridiculously unpredictable from 1 hour to the next. And she's really been the only one that I think has ever really tried to help me work on my negative self-esteem. Um, what Dr. Davis was telling me about, she goes, I just want to say something. And I said, of course. And she said, if you could see it from the way everybody else sees you from the outside, you would see this wonderful, incredible person, loving father, loving husband, um, genuine ray of light. And I had to thank her, but I don't ever think of myself like that. Everything's a work in progress to me. I don't ever think the the best way I can describe it in a short term is after any race I've run, as soon as I cross, and I'm laughing because Damari's going to hear this and she knows what I'm going to say. As soon as I cross the finish line, when most people are in this celebratory mode, you know, you're getting a medal put on and you're high-fiving people and your loved ones are there, I'm thinking about what I can improve upon on the next race. And I realize as I say that that's absolutely insane. If I've run 26.2 miles, I should probably enjoy that. But I'm thinking of where I could have made faster time and what I can improve upon next time. It's not healthy. I don't pretend any other way. But that's how my life is. I don't really ever stop to say I'm good at something. I'm too busy thinking about how to improve upon what I just did, and unfortunately that makes me miss out on a lot of fun times because I don't know how to unclench, for lack of a better term, and I'm working on that. So it was nice, and we did the EMDR session, and I talked about talking about it in detail because it's in 30-second increments where the light's going back and forth. You know, the headphones on with the tone correlating with the sound, and the two little feeders things in my hand that are vibrating with each side of the lights too. So it's 30 seconds. I talk about everything. I talk about what happened exactly. We stop. She asked me, she goes, go ahead and think about the memory. So for 30 seconds, I play it through like any PTSD. I'm in it. She stops the light. She says, where are you? And I tell her exactly. And she'll tell me, okay, start there. And the next 30 seconds, I'm processing it through. In doing this, I actually uncovered, and this is relative to all the crap I've gone through, even bigger trauma in that memory recall that I had completely buried in my head. And in discussing it, I was talking about one of those times that about 5 hangers were broken, not at the same time, but over my back as I was getting beat, because Dad had left. And she said, well, what did you do? And I said, I really don't remember much because I made myself black out. And because of the sexual molestation from my babysitter for 5 years, from ages 5 through 10, I had become an expert at blacking out and just whatever. And, you know, once the EMDR session was over, we talked about something I never had. Obviously, I've never had anybody tell this to me, but she was concerned about that because she started talking about, you know, personality dissociation disorder, and I'm paraphrasing that. I don't think that's a medical term. Most of us know it as it's sort of the beginning of multiple personality syndrome. And she said what happens is we go through something horrible, a trauma, and we tend to make ourselves disassociate. Our body's going through it. We make our mind go somewhere else. What very easily happens next is a whole another offshoot personality develops that completely is disassociated with the original traumatic personality, and that tends to actually splinter the personalities. And she said, had that ever happened to me? I said, no. I said, I just, you know, I black out and I wake up and, you know, luckily whatever trauma was over. And she said, I should consider myself very lucky because that's a slippery slope when you start doing that you develop that form of schizophrenia. And I really had never knew that. I don't know if most people do. The wonderful thing, you know, 2014 was, sorry, my Garmin VivoFit watch is giving me a red bar telling me to move, even though I have 14,000 steps on the day, but that's irrelevant. You know, 2014, I've talked about it was a hard year. Getting the cut a random cut that turns into a staph infection that I came within hours of losing my leg. It was a very real thing. Um, Working out so much is probably is what the doctors say saved me, because they pumped me 48 hours. They pumped me full of antibiotics that because the infection had gotten to my calf muscle, once it gets to your bone marrow, they have to amputate because it could go to your brain. Um, and luckily, and they said because I worked out and I was healthy, the antibiotics didn't have that. My body would help the antibiotics; they didn't have that much work to do. So that was another thing. Um, Summertime, I got a horrible chest cold, to the point running was out of the question. Half the time I stood up and walked, I really thought I was developing vertigo, because I'd stand up and the room wouldn't even spin; it just flipped. Um, Going into September 27th, almost a year ago, I had my stress-induced heart attack. October 16th, the day before my 42nd birthday, had right shoulder surgery. October 17th, my birthday, marked the 20th anniversary of my dad's passing. Beginning of the year rolls around, 2015 of this year, I thought it was gonna, I was like, oh man, it's nothing can get worse than that. In May, had this shoulder operated on, and had a messy, just breakdown. I mean, that's what made me say I got to talk to somebody. And I remember telling my wife, I was like, I'm gonna have a second heart attack. And I don't know if I'm gonna survive. And it wasn't like I was saying it like I'm a victim. It was very, as a matter of fact, it's going, today's Friday. And I told her, my job was contributing to that as well. As a matter of fact, I was at a work event when I had the stress-induced heart attack. Not getting into any deep detail, that was resolved for me just recently, and that made my wife and I extremely proud, happy, and I felt vindicated. Just yesterday, I found out, and as you see, my first two marathons I ran are these bad boys, and those are the pictures. 2011, my first marathon. 2012, my second marathon, and those were for the Kentucky Derby Festival, Derby Mini and full marathon. Well, every year they have race ambassadors that you can apply to be for, and it's really neat because you get a chance to really talk about fitness and how it changes your life, how it affects your life, and get people who get a running group together and help train them, and it's a wonderful culmination of things, as well as to spread the goodwill of everything like that. And I applied, and I found out yesterday that I got it. And I can't even begin to tell you how wonderful that made me feel, because I had already decided 2016 next Derby I was running the full. I need to return to 26.2. And if you've ever run that and you've crossed that finish line, you understand what I'm saying. I need to get that back. I need to and I don't want to sound like a race snob, and I have nothing against other races. I've got medals from my Warrior Dash over here, tons of half marathons over here, things like that. But, I had a 72-year-old gentleman, first marathon I ran, I got some really bad calf cramps, and I remember texting Damari, and I was crying. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it, because forget it slowing me down, I couldn't walk. I was having trouble just lifting my leg to walk. And this guy, sweet older gentleman, he's coming up to me. He's like, "You okay, son?" I said, I don't know. I said, "I'm trying." And he said, "You mind if I talk to you for a bit?" And I said, "Of course, I said, "Yes, sir." And he said, and my friend who I call my sister, Nora had got me. If you saw in the first thing, it says Corey and it says first marathon. She sent me that bid, and I wore it proudly under my race bid. And he says, your first marathon? I said, yes, sir. And he said, let me tell you something someone told me a while ago. He said, if you take, and I actually researched this after the fact, I never forgot it to this day, and I researched it, it's true. He said, if you took 1% of the U.S. population, he goes, that's the number every year, beginning of the year that people say they're going to run a marathon, 1% of the U.S. population. He goes, of that 1%, take another 1%, and those are people that actually cross the finish line. He goes, you make it to the finish line, you're in good company. And I've never forgotten that. In the 3 full marathons I've run, I've never forgotten that. And I've been very proud. I'm not one of those runners who talks about time. If you tell me you ran a race, I'm gonna ask you how you felt. I don't know why. I've never gotten stressed about time. I think if you cross the finish line in anything, that's the victory. So I it's not an outwardly thing. It's not, matter of fact, these were all my medals. I wear them for like a day and then I hang them up. So it's not like I'm not even wearing my race shirts. It's just, there's a feeling that's there when you're lining up and there's 26.2 miles in front of you. It is the most honest thing you can do. I say that as someone who's done it. I say it as a 2016 KDF race ambassador. For you people that I know I'm going to get you to run your first half or first full marathon in April next year. Just thought I'd throw that out there. It is honest. The road, at a start line, it is such a wonderful feeling because it's Christmas morning, birthdays, wedding day, a morning of all those, the morning, all the Friday, every Friday from all the years you went to school, all wrapped up into one. There's nothing but hope. There's nothing but joy. There's nothing but love for your fellow man. You look to your left, look to your right. You're surrounded by 8, 10, 20,000 of your closest friends. And as there's 26.2 miles of road in front of you, how many people can say they've run a distance most people would drive? It's a wonderful way to tour a city from a vantage point you're never going to have. I mean, who's going to stop traffic for you if you're walking around with your friends, whether it's Louisville, whether it's Chicago, whether it's New York, whether it's Boston, whether it's LA, Toronto, which is Toronto and Chicago are on my bucket list for marathons. But it's amazing. And there's a feeling, and I tell people this when they're talking about running a marathon, I was like, please understand, when you cross the finish line after running 26.2 miles, it is impossible to be the same person that started the race. There is a layer that is washed away. And when you cross that, you no longer can tell yourself you can't do anything. Rest of your life, you are not allowed to tell yourself you can't do it, because you can physically look and say, man, I went 26.2 miles 3 times. Like, what do you mean I can't do it? It's not an arrogance. It's an internal swagger. I mean, you're sitting there, and I showed you guys the thing. I call them the space robes. They give you the aluminum foil robes, and you cross the finish line, and you see other people there that you've seen along the course. You finish with them, and y'all are, we're all gross and sweaty, but damn it if we don't give each other hugs. And sorry, that's me going on a running tangent. But I need that. And I told Dr. Davis that. I said, I need that feeling. I need to know I'm capable. I need to feel I'm worthy. And it's not what anyone else tells me. I need to feel it to myself. And I would like to run a marathon with this new frame of mind that I have, that I'm actually believing in myself and not spending 20 of the 26 miles beating myself up and saying, "Why are you doing this? You're horrible." Uh, so I'm really excited for that. And going back to Dr. Davis in our session yesterday, um, she brought up some wonderful points. I really don't ever. It's weird. I even have trouble saying it out loud because I don't think it is. I don't ever give myself credit. She brought up the fact, she's like, you need to start looking at yourself as the fact that you're a wonderful man who has survived a lot of trauma. Most of y'all call it a childhood, but and that you don't you're that I'm a again, it's weird to give myself a compliment, so forgive me. Um, I'm a better parent than I had, or at least one of them. Uh, and that I've survived to have the love in my heart and the tenderness and the warmth that I do is a testimony that I should embrace more of. And it's hard. Even in just saying those words I said in the past 2.5 minutes, I've never said anything like that out loud or internally in my life. I was never wired to think I was worth anything. I was never wired to think I was worthy to be loved. You know, I'm loving the EMDR sessions. I did research, and she was telling me there's a 98% efficacy rate, success rate of this working. Um, it's 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 helped to piece me back together to be the person I think I've always deserved to be. Um, the fact that now, these couple of memories we've talked about, which, 3 weeks ago, the lump is right here in my chest. The base of my neck is tight. My hands are shaking, and you can see in my eyes I glaze over because I'm there. I'm in it. I can give you, even when we were talking about the EMDR session, I was telling her the different smells and everything else and the textures on the ground. It's hard to explain because I don't want to go into the memory. Um, but I mean, after both sessions, I think of those memories, and it's like she said, it's like being on a train. Stuff's just going by, which is how memory should be, good or bad. And the thing is, all of the great memories in my life are like that. They're on a train. I'm on a train, and they're going by. It's all the bad memories. I am right there, live and in living color. I'm not watching it. I'm in it. And it's happening step by step all over. And these two EMDR sessions have given me life back. I can't overstress that. I cannot over exaggerate that. I'm not being dramatic. That's not my style. I'm being serious. Even the past couple of months, since I've been seeing Dr. Davis with the help of the medication, helping the bipolar side of this has been way more than I could have expected. I've had some ups and I've had some downs. Events happen, not my mood. And through them all, I've been me. I haven't gone into the deep depression crashes, and I haven't been on this jacked up mania high. It's as they've happened, up and down, I've been me. That's a combination of the medication as well as the techniques I've learned from Dr. Davis, and and I'm so thankful for that, because I've experienced some crappy stuff and I've experienced some great stuff that any other time it would have been end of the world, DEFCON 4, and then the other time would have been, man, I'm on the beanstalk, I'm higher than Jack, and it's awesome, and the crash would have happened, and it hasn't. It's been a wonderful revelation of that. I'm getting sleep at night. My mind isn't racing, and or I'm not, and going to sleep was never a problem. I've said that before. You give me a couple minutes and not moving, and I'd go to sleep anywhere. But it's the staying asleep. It's not the waking up and the internal dialogue goes, and then next thing I know, 4 hours have gone by. It's been so amazing. Um, I I'm different, and I don't mean different like there was something uh, bad about me before. It's just what's been in the back of my head of the person I should be. Um, Between here and here, all of this was beating me down, saying you're just never going to be that person. And I have faith in myself now. Even my workouts are different. Before I worked out, and it was funny, I just read an article about how this is the most horrible thing to do. Before, and I lift and run every day, getting cardio, getting strength in, my workouts were angry. They were fueled by rage. It was where I took everything out. The lifting was the running was hard. Everything was just it was to escape, which isn't good on a physical level and on a physiological level, as far as what happens to the fat cells and the muscle development doesn't actually help it at all. Now my workouts are different. I'm sitting there singing, having a great time. I'm focused. I'm still the dude who is focused when I hit the gym. I have my workout plan on it, but I'm not. I'm just okay. Let's get it. Let's go. And I've noticed, even this past week, I've set some personal PRs in lifting. And it's kind of funny because that's the only thing has changed. And when I say PRs, I mean, yeah, you're supposed to increase every week, but I mean huge numbers. And I even texted my wife today, was doing row, and 4 sets of 15 at 150. Therese goes 90, and I mean 4 sets of 15 at 90. The difference has been my attitude when I come into the gym. Difference is my attitude when I start lifting. Difference is my attitude when I start running now. And it's made my running so much easier, so much more effortless. It's been my lifting a little bit more powerful, I think, and it's nice. But next week and the week after, next 4 weeks actually, I'll be doing these EMDR sessions, and like I said, I'm a fan. If there's anybody going through any sort of PTSD, any sort of bipolar, and you have a therapist, ask them about it. And like I told Dr. Davis, I said, look, I'm very public about my diagnosis because it's diagnosis. It's not the definition of who I am, and it's not the sum of my parts. It is a description. It is a diagnosis, but I see no reason to be ashamed. I see no reason to hide. I've had, like I said last time, I've had a lot of people message me or text me behind the scenes that have said, I'm brave for talking about this and this. And I was like, I don't necessarily think I'm brave. There's a rebellious part of me that kind of doesn't give a crap what anybody thinks of me. But to be honest, there's a part of me that finds this freeing in discussing it, because then I feel like if you stick around it and you still want to know who Corey is, then I feel like you're a friend. One of the traps of bipolar and PTSD is you close off and you never open yourself up to friendship, because you always have this fear that the people around you are going to get to learn that you're somehow damaged or broken, and they're going to leave you. And that's a whole, and if anybody's going through this, I'm telling the truth. And so you don't develop close relationships because you just worry that people are going to get to know the real you and think that you're weak and want to have nothing to do with you, and you're going to be alone and hurt. So that's why I'm very public about it. If my story can help somebody, or somebody that's going through it and they want to contact me, then wonderful. We saddle up together. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem being the Lone Ranger, and I gotta shout this. I gotta high ho silver and shout this to everybody from the mountaintops. I'm not ashamed. I don't see a reason to be. You ask me about it, I tell you. Sometimes you don't have to ask me. That's just me. Uh, so progress is the best way to describe what's been going on in the EMDR sessions, in the therapy sessions. Huge progress, more than I thought I would be at a couple months into it. I didn't think I didn't think uh, I didn't think I had a chance. I'm just being honest. I didn't think I had a chance of there being any hope for me. That's a word that's very foreign to me, is hope. Um, I understand treading water. I understand trying to survive, because that's all I've done. But I've never understood hope uh, until now. Um, I'm not scared of Damari leaving me like I was 6 months ago. And I'm just being, again, open book. Because I thought, why would she love me? I don't love me. There's nothing about me to love. Why does she want to stay with me? And it wasn't like I was mad at her. It wasn't like I was not trusting her. I just was like, she's going to leave because no one's going to love me. What the hell are you talking about? No one wants to be around you. You're not worthy of being loved. So I have a new lease, a new vision, a way of seeing things now. When things go wrong, they're not horribly wrong. They're just as wrong as the situation entails. When things go right, it doesn't mean everything in the world is right and I got sunshine and roses. It's just good news. One of the neat things, the after effects of EMDR, and I told Dr. Davis last night, and it happened to me last night and this morning, is the world looks different. And I don't mean, looks different figuratively. I mean, it looks different. The only way I can describe it, and I totally understand if my man Kyra gets taken for this, in Twilight, when Bella is talking about the first time Edward's out in the sun and his skin looks like diamonds and he's like all glistening and lit up, that's how the world looks. And you can't help. I mean, I was coming home last night from an EMDR session giggling. I have no idea what the hell I was giggling about. None at all. But I was just giggling. Everything, you get that burden taken out of you, not off of you, out of you and away from you completely. And in the chasm that pain and poison has been living in you suddenly gets just filled with the love that is around you. And you see things for what they are. You see that you're blessed for waking up this morning. You see that you're blessed because there's this person who willingly wants to be with you unconditionally every single day, good or bad. You see these wonderful children that think you are a wonderful parent and just love you and just want to spend time with you. So all of these wonderful things, when this poison and darkness is taken out, all of the wonderful world around you just pours in and fills in those holes. So everything is like, it's giggly, it's shiny and it's sparkly, and it's just, you just find yourself smiling like an idiot for no reason other than the fact that you're like, my life is pretty damn good. And not like my life is pretty good, but no, my life is pretty damn good. And it's not a comparison thing. It's not, you don't need to be better than the next person. Everybody's going through, you can't compare your life to somebody else's and vice versa. It's just looking at yourself, looking around you and being like, damn, like, this is me. This is me. This is wonderful. This is great. You're not chasing approval. You're not chasing, you're not letting anyone's comments get to you. It's just, there's a moment of just, damn. It's not I'm lucky. It's not this or that. It's just, my life is great. I am surrounded by love. And I think that's a lesson whatever you're going through, whatever trials and tribulations you're going through, you got to remember that you are surrounded by love. You know, and I'm gonna end it by saying this as I'm going through this journey. Um, I'll be 43 next month, uh, 9 days from today, September 20th. My wife Demar and I celebrate 12 years of marriage. Um, and it's taken me a while to get here, but and this is another reason I'm very willing to talk about everything I'm going through is you can't have a testimony without a test. So I'm willing to talk about everything because I've been through hell. And if I can help anybody that's going through hell, if I can prevent anybody from going through hell, one person, I feel like I've paid it forward. Um, when it's my time, which Lord knows I've tested that enough times. um, I've walked away from some near death things, but when it's my time and I do get a chance to look my God in the face, I just want to be able to tell him I did everything with the tools he gave me. So I hope this helps somebody. Feel free to leave comments below. I hope you all have a wonderful and blessed night and weekend, and stay good, y'all. I'm out.